Hey, it's Saturday again, or maybe it's Sunday because I missed a day, but welcome back. I am here to tell you another story from my lighting design career. So let's take a look in the book and see what we have to choose from for today. Chicka, 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 chicka. Ah, that is perfect. Let's tell the story of Conrad and the physics problem. Ooh. Back when I was in high school, I took physics. I learned a lot, and I had a lot to learn. I really did well in mathematics classes. I was never quite the fastest to solve problems, but I could keep up with the people that were the fastest to solve the problems, and I could teach myself, I could learn how to figure out complicated formulas and problems based on patterns, because I'm just good at recognizing patterns and then being able to reapply that same kind of pattern onto another type of problem. And that's all that theoretical mathematics is. So I always did really, really well in math courses. And while it was sometimes difficult to do the problems, to figure out the solutions, I never really had a mental block or something that felt like out of my control. As long as I put time into math problems, I always figured out how to solve them. But physics didn't end up being like that for me. The first 3/4 of the year, I did really, really poorly in the class. My friend Conrad and I would drive over to a different school that offered the physics class. Every few days we'd go over there, and I felt like I was just beating my head against a brick wall. Every time we had homework problems, I just felt like I couldn't wrap my head around them. It just didn't quite make sense how to apply the mathematics to each real world situation. I sort of understood the formulas when we were learning them, but I just couldn't put them into practice by myself. This was really frustrating for me. This was a huge difficulty that I had, especially because I was lacking in motivation towards the end of my time in high school. I procrastinated. I did a bad job on things I could have done a better job on, and I was generally just really demotivated from getting better. But my friend Conrad was in the class with me, and because we sat next to each other and he is a lot faster at solving math problems than me, I was always able to pester him and ask him for help whenever, I couldn't get help from the teacher or I just needed more help understanding something. He was always there to help explain something, even when it didn't really land in my brain. So again, maybe 3/4 of the year passes, and this was an AP physics course, so that means there's a test at the end of the year, and depending on your score on the test, you either do or you don't get college credit for all the work you've done in that year.
Wow.
I was really worried and anxious and frustrated about spending so much time doing something and then maybe not even getting credit for it, that it made solving the problems just that much harder. But I didn't stop trying. I kept asking my friend for help. I kept working with myself to try to figure out what I needed to figure out to make it click. And I don't even really know what did it. But for some reason, in those last few weeks before the test, something just clicked in my brain, and all those physics problems became achievable. It became something that I could figure out. And that was such a load off of my shoulders, such a feeling of, relaxation and ease with what I was doing, as opposed to the frustration and stress that I had been undergoing previously. The last week before the AP test, I remember our teacher saying, okay, I've got one final assignment for you that is a practical application of physics. And if you get this problem right, you get full credit. And if you get it wrong the first time, then you get less than full credit. So it was a word problem that then you had to apply to a real life scenario. You had to figure out from the words and the numbers of the problem how to set up a little set of physics objects. So we had a ball, and then we had a downwards ramp, and then we had an upwards ramp, a little jump. Then we had a ring on a stick that the ball had to fly through, and then there was a cup. So the ball had to go down the ramp, up the jump, through the hoop, and then land inside the cup.
Ay, caramba.
So you got different information like the mass of the ball, and then you had to figure out how fast it would accelerate with gravity down the ramp, and then how far it would travel in the air based on the amount of force that it had. And you had to set up this little, set of toys in the correct orientation with the mathematics provided that it would work the first time. Because that's what physics is all about. It's about applying mathematics to the real world. And when you are applying mathematics to a professional job, you need to get it right before you actually put it all together, because it can either hurt people or cost an enormous amount of resources if you mess up something that's a physical building. So getting physics right is important, and that's what she was trying to teach us. It was a partner's activity, so Conrad and I naturally gravitated together, and finally I felt like I had the capacity to actually help solve the problems. It was so rewarding and so much fun to work with my friend on this cool project where I got to see the results of the hard work that I had done teaching myself how to understand physics. As time has gone on and my career has developed, I end up using physics on a pretty regular basis, and having that foundation of that knowledge in my background is so worth it. I thank myself every single time I use this information, that I didn't give up, that I didn't let go and succumb to my stress and frustration, and that I asked my friend for help. Whatever you find yourself doing, you never really know when some things that you learn in school will come in handy. If you are honest and you give a genuine effort and you teach yourself knowledge, you will find a place to apply that knowledge. And you and the people around you will appreciate you for it. That's all for this week. Now, please go enjoy a little bit more of this beautiful summer weekend. I'll catch you next time. Share this video with a friend. This channel continues to grow thanks to viewers like you. Thank you.